One thing is absolutely clear with all the announcements that happened this week that the June lineup of films is absolutely bonkers. Even more so, what's insane about it is that I'm genuinely excited about the events in Tamil, Telugu, and Kannada rather than the string of Hindi films in the upcoming weeks. The tidal shift of the audience's attention is undeniable. When someone is delivering in terms of storytelling, everyone will take notice. So I'll just talk about the three projects that have me really pumped up, and all of these stories present drastically different treatments, making it even more interesting of how they would fare when they release in theaters. I remember making a video on effective first looks or trailers when the first glimpse of Vikram had dropped, and how Hindi cinema should learn from especially Tamil and Malayalam cinema in terms of having the ability to provide an essence of the film's storyline without giving away several of its developments in terms of screenplay and characters' motivations. The Kamal Hassan and Lokesh Kanagaraj collaboration provided exactly that with its first look, but even more so with its trailer. I was already sold on the project due to the presence of Vijay Sethupathi and Fahad Fasil, but the trailer guarantees an exhilarating mass experience that I think even Tamil cinema desperately needs at this point. You have to realize that even in the last few months for Tamil cinema, at least in terms of content, it has been quite underwhelming. Financial performance of those films aside, because the stars have such a loyal fan base, they come and celebrate the films and recover ample amounts of their investment in the very first week. But strictly in terms of content, the big star-led films have really missed the mark in creating the balance between mass and class. And by that I mean keeping the star presence of the individual in place while still delivering an engaging screenplay. Valimai, E.T. and Beast are not going to be remembered as epic ventures, but Vikram and the spectacle it is shaping up to be seems to guarantee what was missing in these films. The film looks like a straight-up gang war as the police officials led by Fahad Fasil make sure that the lawlessness comes under check. Vijay Sethupathi, presumably playing an influential mob boss, finds it tough to execute his illegal business practices due to the investigations of Fahad Fasil and mighty presence of a figure like Kamal Hassan. What transpires, of course, is straight up carnage and several parties butting heads with one another and guns, ammunition, and gore galore. You give me a Lokesh Kanagaraj treatment with powerhouse talents like that in the film and you can take my money now. I'll be honest about two things while I still rave about this upcoming project. That one, I was kind of disappointed on how Master shaped up, an entertaining first half that I think transpired into losing its focus in its concluding moments. In my eyes, missing the mark of what could have been an exceptional mass entertainer. And two, I'm not a fan of Anirudh's single Pattala Pattala, it just didn't hit that mass chord with me, and Tamil film fans can chime in on the same. With just the saturation of work that Anirudh does, isn't it inevitable that some of his work will get lost in mediocrity, not reflective of his ability, but just the sheer volume of work he is doing? I think what is also fascinating about most Lokesh Kanagaraj films is that he always sprinkles his films with an ode to the lead actor's filmography, or clearly in his frame celebrates Tamil cinema. So I'll have to do a lot of homework before stepping into the film and revisit Kamal Hassan's own films like the 1986 Vikram and Satya and Virumandi, two films Lokesh equates to influencing him to become a director. Also, a lot of theories are floating around that Lokesh might be creating his own cinematic universe, with several hints of the world of Kaithi also interspersing here, which will definitely make the audience lose their mind if it transpires. Leave that aside, with the confirmation that Surya is also involved in the project, I can't even imagine the mass spectacle this film will guarantee when his cameo appears. It's safe to say that I'm so pumped. Releasing on 3rd of June, it releases on the same day as Prithviraj, and the next film I'm super excited for. Major, based on the life of Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan, the brave soldier who laid down his life for his country during the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks, is directed by Sashi Kiran Tikka, written by the lead hero Sesh himself and produced by Mahesh Babu and Sony. I'll be honest that I was not a huge fan of the State of Siege that released on Alt Balaji and was based on the event while Arjun Bijlani played the role of Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan. The series was campy in its pitch and generic in terms of its treatment of sequences of combat, but Major promises to be in a completely different league altogether. Looking at his journey from his formative years, his development in the army and his role in the NSG and tackling the conflict head on as a soldier is something that this film will explore, and I'm all for it. I think Mahesh Babu has donned the role of a producer in his own film since 2015, and to see him back a film led by another actor, I'm sure the man was really taken aback by the conviction of the storytelling of this premise. One thing I want to talk about is, and this is not meant to be a diss in any way for the film, but just a parallel I'd like to create, but the journey of this film and some of the stills that I saw from the trailer actually reminded me of Sher Shah. Whether you look at the boyish charm in the early stills of young romance in the film, the charm and wit that the man possessed, and the fearlessness that he had in the line of combat, I genuinely think there are several parallels that you can create with both the films. Even more so, the active involvement of the lead actor to make sure the vision and memory of the man lives on is something that you can draw parallels with also. Irrespective, the film seems to promise an inspirational and high-octane action journey as the stature of the man deserves, but even more so, it seems like an emotional tale of family, love and bravery that will definitely make us bawl our eyes out. And speaking of being emotional and bawling my eyes out, let's get to a film that I definitely know will absolutely make me crumble from within, and that is the upcoming Kannada film with Rakshit Shetty titled 777 Charlie. You know, right now there is this perception of what constitutes as a pan-Indian film, and with the return of the angry young man from the 70s, everyone believes that if a film is to be marketed to the entire country, it has to be hyper-masculine, violent storylines with a blaring BGM, so that audiences can hoot and cheer till they absolutely lose concept of logic in their mass hysteria. But here comes a Kannada film of a man with a lost purpose, aimlessly living his life as inconsequential, mediocre and lonely to his grave, and having a new lease of life with the introduction of a fluffy four-legged friend right at his doorstep. The journey of sheer hell in raising a puppy to an undeniable bond that forms and an unconditional friendship one seeks for from other humans is found in a furry creature. I know 777 Charlie will break me from within because the OGs know I had a little one who looked exactly like this. I remember just the tubs of weeping I had done when I saw Marley and Me, but you know what totally broke me recently and something that I would highly recommend to all of you? Afterlife on Netflix with Ricky Gervais and the beautiful bond between him and his German Shepherd Brandy. Trust me, if this show doesn't make you cry, then you're made of metal not known to man. Rakshit and Raj Shetty in my eyes are some of the most innovative and dedicated creators of Kannada cinema who are constantly pushing the envelope in terms of inventive new subjects. Ulidvaru Kandate and Rakshit were my introduction to Kannada cinema, and ever since then, I've been hooked to the man's creations. This one promises to be such a roller coaster of an emotional journey that I very well know. It will definitely make me an emotional wreck, and those who have owned pets exactly know what I'm talking about. Hell, forget that. The last scene of the trailer only made me cry, so imagine what will happen to me while I watch the film. Irrespective, I think in the space of pan-Indian mass action films, 777 Charlie is such a refreshing take on a storyline that is essentially universal and that many people will connect with. It's as clear as day that June looks like an absolutely beautiful month to be a film fan just because of the range of stories we will witness across languages in this beautiful thing called Indian cinema. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what are you most excited for. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram, the handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.